joys, the simple pleasures of our health and well-being. Um, it's so easy to get caught up in just the busyness or the stressors of our lives and forget that slowing down and just being fully present in the health of our being, both mind and body, is just such a gift. And I know I'm not the only one who has, spent a lifetime trying to cultivate mental health, physical health, well-being on all these levels. And sometimes it's important to just stop and realize the wealth that we have in our health. That really, if we don't have our mental health and our physical health, everything else falls away. It's just, it loses its we can't engage in life in the same way without it. So let's think about that as we practice today. Just have some deep appreciation, gratitude for what's going so well in your life, and know that anything can change at a moment's notice, that something can happen to take away the freedom that your health gives you. So let's close our eyes and just take a moment to come into gratitude, to feel state of grace of your body. You're here doing yoga, so therefore you are healthy and strong. Even if there's niggles throughout you that are difficult, whether you're dealing with a health issue of some kind or not, we have the capacity to be in a yoga class, which means we're pretty darn healthy at the moment. So let's sink into that, into gratitude for our well-being. Challenges that have come before now and will come again. Let's bring our fortitude, our strength from the health we feel right now and cultivate that, so that when the next challenge comes, we have some strength, we have some resiliency. Can you seek pleasure in your body? Can you feel a sense that even the simple act of breathing freely is a gift? So as you close your eyes and settle into your being, let's focus on the breath first. Allow your shoulders to drop. See if you can melt any tension through your face. Coming into that state of softness. And welcome the breath into that space. Travel, notice, see if you can observe and travel on the breath. Can you be very concentrated in your attention and awareness of the pleasure of taking a breath that's easy? Where does your breath easily go? Even if your breath is a little tight or restricted, feel the pleasure of that it's easy to take a breath. And as you observe, what does the exhale feel like? Is it also easy to let go of the breath? Let your face continue to soften, let go of tension where you find it. Feel the chambers in your torso that allow breath in, so the diaphragm moving, the lungs, the ribs expanding. Feel the pleasure of the breath touching the back of your body. How easy it is for us to take this for granted. The simple joy of breathing. Can your belly relax? Can you feel that your torso is conspiring to allow breath in, to move breath out? Is the spine long? Do you have freedom and stability? What does that feel like to have both freedom and stability? couple more breaths, just really observing the beauty of your breath, the ease of your breath, deep gratitude for your breath. And as you're ready, place the palms together at your heart. Bow in, let the eyes soften behind your lids. And if we are looking out into the world today with gratitude and sense of appreciation for our health and well-being, how does that shift your perspective? And how can your practice support this shift? Set an intention. Okay, and then let's release the hands and come onto our back. All right, so find your way. Move your props out of the way. And just come onto your back. Stretch your arms, feel the length through your body, and just enjoy. We're going to do some heart opening, some hip flexor opening work today. So already can you feel the sense of expansion, the invigoration in your nervous system of having your arms overhead? See if you can stretch the right side, stretch the left side, just open up the rims of the body. And then as your exhale comes, bring your knees into your chest and enjoy some rocking. Okay. Simple pleasures. Simple pleasure of just rocking your body from side to side. Okay. Let's take the left knee into the chest. Right, right leg is long on the floor. Wiggle out your toes, roll through your ankles. Feel a deep compression in your left hip joint as you stretch the right one open. Feel the spine grow. Pay attention to a breath here. What does it feel like to have that steady, smooth, easy breath? And then change sides. Right knee into the chest, left leg is long on the floor. Feel free to wiggle out your toes and roll through your ankles here. Find some compression, so hug that knee in if it's comfortable to do so. Keep extending the spine. And then join the left knee up with the right and circle your knees. And instead of going the path you always go, so you probably already did, but change and go the path less traveled and just see what it feels like to observe the body in a pattern that's not as comfortable or familiar. And take pleasure in that too, the simple heightened awareness that comes from something that's a little unusual. And then change directions and go into your more trodden path of movement and feel the comfort of that as well. And then let's pull the knees apart and bring them back in, just finding that sense of how are your hip joints feeling today? Warm things up a little bit, get some range of motion in your hip joints. All right, and then spread your arms and legs wide. Take a deep breath in, stretch and lengthen the body. Squeeze every muscle you have. Find what's here for you to give a compression to. And then knees into the chest, head up. Pull your out and squeeze here. Squeeze your face, squeeze your feet, squeeze everything in between. And then a little bit more gentle. Arms and legs wide on the floor. Open things up, spread things out. Exhale, close things up, chin in. One more time. Feel the full body cat-cow. So it's not just your spine, but your limbs are in relationship to the movement of the spine. And then roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. All right, so find some cat-cows. So as you find all fours and start to move the spine, let's take stock. Notice what's working well in your spine. Maybe even if things aren't working so well in your spine, can you find one little area of your spine that is free? Maybe it's the base of your skull, maybe it's the tip of your tail, maybe it's somewhere in between. Just find a sense of what feels free and mobile.
And then start to swirl things around. Any kind of movement that feels good. If you want to do some circles with your pelvis or your shoulders, you can move in any way that is helpful to you. What's waking up your spine? What's giving you a sense of freedom? All right, and then come to a flat back. And you can always take fists onto the floor. We're going to be here for just a moment or two. And stabilize through your center body. Take a deep breath in and relax your ribs and your belly. And as you exhale, re-engage and hug into the center of the body. So, on all fours, let's try to find that cylinder of support, the transverse abdominis, the deep abdominal muscle that kind of wraps around your spine, literally wraps from the back to the front, deep inside your body to hold your spine stable. Deep inhales to let it go. Exhales to engage. All right, let's take our right foot straight back behind us. Find your breath, still finding the center cylinder of support. When you're ready, take the opposite arm out in front of you. And you can always take the arm behind you if your shoulder doesn't like to be overhead or out to the side. So you decide where you want your arm to be, where you want your leg to be. Find that sense of breath. So remember, our inhales expand us, our exhales contract our core. Find that core stability as best as you can. And then place that hand and knee down onto the ground, change sides. Left leg is up, engage your glutes, feel your core. When you're ready, stretch the arm out in front of you. Something as simple as this pose, bird dog, is such a great way to wake up the core stabilization. And remember, you're a 360 person. You are not, flat Stanley. You don't have a front and a back. You have that side body as well, so feel your fullness. And then let's go ahead and place your hand and your knee down onto the ground. Inhale, lift your right arm up to the sky. Exhale and slide that shoulder down and find yourself a twist. Enjoy the back ribs. See if you can feel where the ribs and the spine meet. Breathe right there. Start to just really invite the breath into the back of the body. What does it feel like? Is it as comfortable? Twisting makes the breath a little restricted. Let's see if you can use that restriction to amplify where you are feeling breath move. Enjoy the breath. Keep enjoying the breath. Throughout your practice, just keep enjoying your breathing. And then inhale, reach that arm all the way up to the sky. Place the hand down onto the ground. Second side, lift the arm. Exhale and slide that arm through. Press into the floor. Gaze downward so that your neck is soft. Find your breath again. Where is it flowing? Where is it moving? How are you needing to modify this so that your body is at ease and comfortable? If you can, notice that little window where the ribs and the spine meet and bring your breath right into the center back body. And then inhale, reach that arm all the way up to the sky. Place the hand down onto the ground. Dog pose. Lengthen through your spine. Pedal out your feet. Enjoy. So get yourself moving. You can pedal, you can sway, you can have any kind of bouncing or rocking, anything that feels good to wake things up in the body. Feel the femur bones lift and stretch back. Widen the sit bones. Feel the stability through your upper body. Hug the hands toward each other. Feel the strength of your torso supporting your shoulders. How's your breath now? Are you able to enjoy your breathing? Deep inhale, deep, long exhale. Enjoy the ease of your breath, the ease of the movement of your rib cage, the ease of the movement of your diaphragm. And then walk your feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. Grab onto your elbows if you want. Bend your knees as much as you want. Let the gravity of holding your bones help you stretch your spine just a little bit. Feel free to bobble around your head, to wag your tail, any kind of movement that's going to open you up. Inhale for a halfway lift. Thigh bones move back, spine is long. Exhale and melt toward the floor again. Open your feet, spread out the bones. Push off your feet, rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. Open the breath.
Cactus the arms if it's comfortable. If not, bring the arms out anywhere that feels good. So just find the freedom of your chest opening. Deep breath in, and then exhale and round the spine here. Let's repeat. Inhale, open things up. Exhale and round. Interlace your fingers. Stretch your palms straight up in the air. Find the length of your body. See what it feels like to open up the side ribs. So lean over to the right, but try not to collapse downward. Think upward, stretch into the left foot. Find the extension through your side. Breathe into the windows of the body. Find the openness all through the rib cage. And then come back to center. Interlace the hands the weird way. Stretch your arm up and over. Try not to collapse through your side. Think extension. Inner spiral with your thighs. Feel a sense of stability and yielding with your feet. So are your knees soft? Are you able to give to the earth? Are you able to rebound up through the side? Come back to center one more time. Open the chest and then release the hands down. Interlace the hands the weird way again. Stretch open your chest, spread across your collarbones, bend your knees and come forward to wherever your arms go. So they might touch the spine or they might move far away. Let the neck dangle and be soft. Deep breaths. Enjoy your breaths. And let's release our hands down to the ground. Halfway lift, extend the spine. Exhale and melt back down. Step the left foot back, right foot is coming forward. Come into a lunge. Feel the extension through your spine. Have blocks if you want them. Find your movement. Find your breath. Enjoy your breath. Enjoy your movement. So nothing has to be extreme. Try to really invite your practice to be something that nourishes you, challenges you just in the right amount where you're building strength and resiliency, but not stress. So can you live within that boundary line? Are you able to enjoy your breathing? All right, let's come to a lunge. Stretch your heart, place your knee down onto the ground. Uncurl your toes, lay them flat on the floor, or you can curl your toes under it. So experiment. How do you like it? Which one do you feel better with? Go ahead and bring your hands up onto your knee. Try to stabilize. So hug your front heel and back knee toward each other. Hug your inner thighs toward the midline and lift the pubic bone toward your belly button. See what it feels like to hold yourself stable in these ways instead of letting yourself collapse and sink into the low back. So if you're like, why do I need to do that? Feel it for a moment. Let go of all those things. Feel yourself fall in the pose and notice the strain on your hip flexors. Notice the strain on your low back. And then recommit. Front heel and back knee toward each other so the hip flexors have a flex stretch within them. You're hugging toward the midline so all the muscles of your legs are incorporated into the posture. And lift your pubic bone toward your belly button so that you're moving from the core instead of from just the back body to support your spine. Reach both arms up. Feel the extension. What does your breath feel like here? Deep inhale. Exhale. Hand on your knee. Stretch the arm. You can either put your forearm on your knee or your elbow. Extend. Let this be about the hip flexors, not just about the twisting. Feel the breath touching the ribs where they meet the spine and the back of your body. Still supporting, hugging your foot and knee, hugging to the midline, finding the fullness of your easy breath. And then release, bring your hands back down onto the ground. Step your back foot forward, come into Uttanasana. Notice the difference between the two sides. Melt into that, bend your knees. Inhale for a halfway lift. Then as you're ready, step your other foot back. So now our left foot is forward, our right foot is back. Coming into a lunge. And you may have very different hip flexors on your two sides. So just notice as you start moving, what's different here? Do you feel a little bit more at home, a little less at home? Do you have any injuries or patterns that are different on this side than the other side? Are you breathing? Are you enjoying the breath? And then come to a lunge, knee down onto the ground. Choose how you want your foot to be. Rise up, You can keep your hands on your hips. You can lift your hands onto your knee. Find the stability first before you lift your arms. If you want to experiment again, see what it feels like to fall, to not have any of that support, to lean into the ligaments of your body and how not supportive this is. And then recommit. Hug your front heel, back knee, hug to the midline. Feel the muscles in your legs start to activate, to hold you. There's a lot going on. It's not just your hip flexors and your hamstrings that are holding you up. Your glutes are doing some of the work. Your inner thighs are doing some of the work. Feel the pubic bone lift toward the navel. Feel the lift through your spine. Once you have that stability, lift your arms up in the air if it feels comfortable, or arms can go where a happy place for your shoulders is. Find your breath. Stay rooted through your foot on the ground. Try not to let it fall out to the side. And then as you're ready, elbow or forearm to your knee. It can be very gentle. It doesn't have to be a super deep twist. Your hand is on your side to keep the elongation through your spine. Once again, try not to fall in the pose. Still hugging your legs. Feeling the ease of your breath. Enjoy the twist. Enjoy the change of your breathing as you twist a bit. And then let's go ahead and release the hands down onto the ground. This time we're going to bring our knee back behind us. Come onto all fours. Move your props out of the way for a moment. Find your breath. And then curl your toes under and lift up to dog pose. Extending your spine. Take a moment here. Dog pose is such a beautiful place to reflect. There's this deep downward, inward energy. Fall into that a bit. Sense your breathing. Enjoy your breathing. Enjoy the ease. Somewhere there's ease in your body. Find it and enjoy it. Okay, from here, we're going to come forward into a plank. Stabilize so the shoulders are over your wrists. Find a sense of support wherever that lands in your core of your body. So can you find the deep transverse abdominis here, that 360 muscle around your core on your exhales in particular? I'm going to work with this a little bit today. Full exhales. Push your air out. Maybe blow out through pursed lips so you can get a sense of that muscle. Find your inner thighs. Try to extend that muscle to your legs. And then we're going to put our knees onto the ground just for a moment and take your forearms onto the floor. So line up your wrists, your elbows, and your shoulders. And when you're ready, go ahead and lift up into dolphin pose. If your shoulders don't like this pose, do dog pose instead, or any other pose. Okay, so extend through your spine. Feel the lift. Lift your spine upward. Find some strength. Hug toward the midline. Lift and widen the sit bones. Find the easy breath again. Can you feel the expansion in your rib cage? All right, we're going to walk our feet back and come into a forearm plank. So a strong pose for your core, an excellent pose to invigorate the transverse abdominis muscle. Find your inhale, find your exhale. Imagine a block between your thighs. Deep breaths in and away. Inner thighs are lifting toward the sky a little bit, so there's a little inner spiral. Allow this to help your hip bones to move toward each other to activate the TA a little bit more. Full 360. Deep breaths. All right, and then we're going to put our knees down. And look, we're right here for a cobra pose. So inch your body back, lift up, extend the spine, and then exhale and melt. We're going to come, I'm going to just move to the side so you can see. We're going to come into a side forearm plank to just feel the side of our body engage. So forearm is perpendicular to your mat. Inhale and lift up. And if this is too much for you, you can either keep your hip down, or you can keep the bottom leg up and cross the top leg over like this. Find the shoulders away from the ears. Scrub your foot and your forearm toward each other. Engage the obliques. Deep inhale and exhale. And then let that hip rest down. Come to rest. On your belly. Lift up your feet and swing side to side. Let's do the second side. So as your forearm comes onto the ground, perpendicular to the mat, decide how you want your legs to be if you're crossing over or if you're in a full posture. I don't have enough room. Okay, and then we're going to inhale and lift up, arm to the sky, shoulder blades away from the ears. Find your breath. Scrub your forearm and your foot toward each other. Feel the whole activation of the side of your body. Keep breathing. Can you find the pleasure of your breath even here when things get a little rough around the edges? Deep inhale, core stabilization on your exhale. And then rest your hips down. Come back round. Come up to dog pose. Extend through your spine. Deep breath in and away. Come on to all fours. We're going to come onto our back for a moment. So lay down. Find your breath. Okay, so hopefully your core is turned on a little bit. We're just going to do just a little bit more work to find things. So bring your fingers to your hip bones, the finger pads, and just slide in toward the midline so you find your core. And you know, there's a lot going on. You got a lot of organs, you got a lot of everything going on in your belly. So there's a lot of muscular strength here. So engage your deep transverse abdominis. See what it feels like to kind of shrink your hip bones toward the midline, to bring your pubic bone toward your belly button. Try to do this without scooping your pelvis. So we want to avoid a posterior tilt with this. That's the tendency. See if you can keep the pelvis resting on the floor in a neutral position as you engage those muscles. Deep breaths in to relax them. Exhale to engage. Okay, on the next exhale, pick up your head so you feel the rectus abdominis on top, the layers of muscles that you have. Deep breath in, everything releases. Exhale, shrink wrap, pick up your head. One more time, head down, everything releases. Big breath, exhale, shrink wrap your spine, lift up your head. All right, and then relax. And we're gonna release your arms down to the sides. We're going to lift our pelvis. It does not have to be high. So you don't have to go super high like in a bridge pose. Stay kind of low, so we're just hovering off the floor. Find that transverse abdominis here. See what it feels like. You know, obviously your glutes are going to turn on, your hamstrings, there's going to be a lot of other muscles. But see what it feels like as you inhale, relax, exhale, engage. I'm going to have you just tip your pelvis. So we're going to just drop your right hip down and then pick it up and drop your left hip down. And see if you can just access a little bit deeper musculature in your core to find just a simple movement of twisting the pelvis. Obviously, it's not just your transverse abdominis doing this, your obliques and a whole lot of other muscles are involved too. But just notice what you're feeling, both as you lift the hip back and as you drop the hip down. And then come back. Bring your pelvis to rest on the floor. Now imagine your left knee has a tray on it with a wine glass that you don't want to spill. And we're going to open up our right knee as if we're going into Supta Baddha Konasana, real steady and slow. You can have your hands there or you can have your hands wherever you want them. And then bring that knee back, right knee back. So we're stabilizing the left as we move the right. Then put your tray with the wine glass on top of your right knee and open your left knee out. What is stabilizing that right knee? Can you feel your deep hip flexors and your transverse abdominis helping with the stabilization forces as the other side moves? Find your breath. Try not to do this as you go back and forth between left and right sides. Try not to do this without breath. So of course the exhale is where you're most stable for your core strength, but you have, when we're doing active things, we have to learn how to let the tether out so we can breathe, but still find stability. So this is almost like an eccentric and concentric contraction with the core muscles. So it's very simple. This is not a difficult movement, but it sure is difficult to maintain very, very steady positioning. It's not, it's simple, but not easy. Okay, and then relax for a moment and just notice what's
you probably aren't super fatigued, but something's turned on. So just notice the sensation, the 360 wraparound from your back to the sides to the front. Deep breath in and away. Okay, let's go ahead and roll over onto your side and come up into dog pose. Extend the spine. Deepen your breath. Lengthen here. Find what it feels like to be long, to be strong, to be breathing, to be healthy. So enjoy once again this sense of ease in the body, but look what you can do. Inhale, lift your right leg up in the air, hips are square. Exhale and bring that foot forward, come to a lunge. Find your way up into crescent lunge, arms coming up to the sky or out to the side wherever you are. Extend and lengthen. Can you feel both the extension of your hip flexors and the stability of your core simultaneously? Let's twist to the right. Drop the shoulders away from the ears, and we're going to turn this into a little bit of a wonky pose. So either put your right hand on your hip or on your sacrum, keep the twist, and reach the arm up. So you're kind of like in a twisted crescent lunge. Stabilize with the core of your body. Look up if you want. Extend through that side. Hug to the midline with your legs. And then come back to center. Place the hands down onto the ground. Back to a plank. Hold steady. Deep stabilization in the center of you. Come down to the floor, however you best get there. Inhale, cobra pose. Enjoy the stretch, the openness. Exhale and melt back down. Come back up, dog pose. Pedal out your feet, sway your hips around. If you don't transition well, then take some time here. Lift the left leg up in the air. Hips are square, push off your hands. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bring your foot forward. Come into a lunge. Find crescent lunge. Reach your arms up. Decide, how deep into the lunge you want to be. Try not to let your knee get wonky. See how stable you can find yourself. Arms can come up or not. Maybe you're more stable with your hands on your hips. So can you feel the exhale stabilizing your core at the same time as opening through the hip flexors? Deep breath in. As you're ready, let's twist to the left. And your hands can be on your hips for this twist too. You don't have to have your arms out to the side. Still seeking the midline. Still seeking the strength on the exhale. Lift the pubic bone toward the navel. Let's turn this pose into that little bit of a twist stretch. So hand on sacrum or hand on hip. Heck, you can even put your hand on your back thigh, on your hamstring. Inhale, reach that arm up. Maybe look up. Feel the extension through the hip flexors. Stabilize through your core. Protect your back. Hug to the midline with your inner thighs. Stay grounded in your feet. Engage your glutes on that back leg. Try not to let it fall. All right, and then release and rest the hands down onto the ground, dog pose. Deep breath in, long spine. Walk your feet forward, come into Uttanasana. Fold a little bit. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Rise up, arms coming to the sky. Open things up, cactus if you want. Exhale and release, palms to your heart. Pause here for a moment. Bring your hands down, close your eyes, come into the yielding of your pose. Connect with the earth. Enjoy your breath. The deep inhale, the long exhale. The ease in which you breathe, the ease in which you move. Inhale, lift your arms back up to the sky. Fold in half. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Step back to a plank. So hold steady one more time. Feel free to come into a forearm plank too. If your body's not stressed by that, you can always come back into a forearm plank. Kind of the lower we get to the ground, the more we kind of sense our core. Deep breath in and away. Lower yourself down to the ground. And let's just check, like we sometimes do in a posture, to notice why we need core support for a back bend. Put your head on your hands Inhale, lift your right leg without any core support and just notice the compression, what you feel. Then relax and let that back down. Find your core, find the 360. Imagine those wine glasses you were balancing. Feel the shrink wrap around your body, the pubic bone to the belly button, the hips toward each other, whatever access point you have, find that on your exhales and then lift your leg up. And you might find that your glutes, especially, well, all three of your glutes will activate actually more when your core is balancing them than when you just lifted the leg without. Okay, and then relax and let that go. Second side, so lift the leg with no core support. So of course your glutes will work, but they have no resistance against them. So they don't have to work against resistance. So the only thing that happens really is you compress your sacrum and your low back. Let's go ahead and release that down to the ground. Find your core again, especially on the exhales. Find whatever point of access you have, and then lift that leg. Now the glutes have a whole lot of resistance to move against, so they actually have to work harder to lift, and you can't lift as high, and that's okay. Feel the stability in your back. Deep breaths in and away. And then relax and let those legs down. Just wag your tail, sway your hips left and right, curl your toes under, lift your thighs up, bring them wider. Take your arms down at your sides, take a deep breath in, and we're gonna lift everything up. Stabilize through your core. Find all the access points you know how to get to. Engage your back body too. Your glutes are working, your core is working, your breath is moving. Heads of the arm bones lifting away. Exhale and melt to come back down. Pick up your feet, windshield wiper your knees left and right. When you're ready, come back. Maybe child's pose, maybe cat-cow. What's treating your body with best respect? Some people can't go from extension to flexion so quickly. So a transition point with some, moving your spine around or cat-cows can be very helpful. When you're ready, go ahead and lift up to dog pose. Deep breath in and away. Enjoy this posture. There's so much freedom here if you allow it to be so. Relax your eyes, find all the freedom across your face. Arms overhead gives so much room for breath. When you're ready, lift the right leg up in the air. This time, stack your hip, open those hip flexors. Deep breath here. And then as you're ready, square the hips again. Stretch that leg back. Exhale, bring your foot forward, come into a lunge. Climb up. We're going to place our back heel down onto the ground. Come forward, lean forward. So in Virabhadrasana 1, I'll turn to the side so you can see the side angle. When you're leaning forward, your spine has a lot less compression in the low back, and it's very easy to just compress here and to move into this deep full back bend without a lot of support. Just try not to be there. Find your core. Root into the back heel as a stabilizing force. Engage those glutes. Press your front foot down. Find your legs. Find your glutes. Then find your core. Stabilize from that place. Work from the ground up. So when you come into the pose, wherever your arms end up, you're not in this deep compression in the lumbar spine. We're lifting. So engage the pubic bone. Lift it up toward the belly button. Still finding the fullness of your breath as best as you can. Deep inhale and exhale. Place the hands down onto the ground. Turn your hip. Place your knee down. Extend the spine. Find your breath. Curl it under one more time. I forgot to do something, so go back. Come back into Virabhadrasana 1. Reach your arms behind you. Interlace your hands. Choose. Comfort, discomfort, whatever you're in the mood for. Open the chest. Tip your torso forward and come into humble warrior. Arms can come up. Make sure you're not locking the elbows out. Heads of the arm bones lift. The spine grows. Hug your feet toward each other. Find your glutes. Find your inner thighs. Find your core. Find your breath. Melt the face. Long exhales. And then release. Come back up. Now you can bring your hands down onto the ground and the knee back onto the floor. Come into half Hanumasana for a moment. Stretch that front leg straight. Blocks are nice if you have them. And then we're going to come into a lunge again. You might need a strap to wrap around your ankle. You can always change this pose and just stand up and do a quad stretch. We're going to come into a lunge. Our right foot is forward, our left hand's on the ground. Reach your right arm back behind you. Grab your foot. Okay. Find your chest. Open your heart. Heads of the arm bones come back. Okay. Hug into the midline. So feel your legs. Try not to fall in the posture. Hug back. Front heel and back knee coming toward each other. Deep breath in, soft shoulders. Relax the base of your skull. Extend through your spine. And then unwind that posture. Let your foot go. Back to dog pose you go. Deep breath in and away. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Maybe you want to turn it into a forearm plank. Decide where you want to be in space. Let's tip the right hip down toward the floor and pick it back up. Tip your left hip down toward the floor and pick it back up. So essentially we're twisting just a little bit to the side. Just a little bit. Find that deep core stabilization. There's so many ways to access your TA. All right, and then go ahead and find your knees on the floor if you want, or just come down to the ground, however is best suited for you. Wide cobra pose. Arms out in front of you. Extend the spine. Stabilize as you extend. And then exhale and release. Pick up your feet. Windshield wiper your knees. Let's find our way to dog pose. Take your time. You can take the cat-cow in between. Find the extension. Deep breaths. In and out. Let's lift the left leg up in the air. Now we get to open the hip up. Feel the hip flexors stretch and open a bit. Deep breath in and out. Enjoy. And then square the hips again. Take a breath. Stretch that leg back. Exhale and bring your foot forward. Come into a lunge. Find your breath coming up. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Place your back heel down onto the ground. Hands can be on your hips or anywhere you want them to be. Come forward a little bit as you start your Virabhadrasana 1. Okay. Find the stability. Find your legs first. Ground. Feel your feet. Yield. Feel your legs hug to the midline. Feel your glutes. Push your front foot into the floor. Engage your back leg. Come on up a little bit. Find your pubic bone lifting to the belly. Find that sense of stability. Find the sense of openness and stability all at once. Try not to compress into the back of your body as you come upward wherever you go. Keep feeling the midline. Keep feeling the glutes. Keep feeling the core. Keep feeling your breath. Spacious, open, free breathing. Arms don't have to be up. They can be anywhere you want them to be. All right, we're going to interlace the hands behind your back. Choose weird way, easy way. Open the chest and then come forward into humble warrior. Coming on the inside edge of your knee. Arms can come up, arms can stay back. Heads of the arm bones lifting, the spine grows. Hug to the midline with your legs. Feel your feet pushing into the floor. Don't lose the back leg. Don't lose the leg. Don't lose the glutes. Engage through your core to lengthen the spine. Keep breathing. And then come on up. Extend. Maybe the arms want to come up again. Place the hands down onto the ground. Back to a plank. Stabilize. Maybe you want to come into a forearm plank. Whatever you're doing, stabilize. And then come down onto the ground. Come up onto all fours. Bring your left foot forward again. Come into a lunge. Place your hand down onto the ground and reach back and grab your foot. So if you can't reach your foot,
You can always wrap a strap around your foot, or you can stand up and hold something and just do a quad stretch. So wherever you're going, hug into the midline, extend the spine, heads of the arm bones move back. Deep breaths in and away. Enjoy both the stretch, but also the flex. So hug your feet, hug your knee and your foot toward each other. Find the midline. And then relax and let that go. Come onto all fours and find your way onto your belly. Stabilize your core. This time we're going to do locust pose. So interlace your fingers behind your back, heads in the arm bones. If you have yet to do a weird interlace of your fingers, do it now. Find your breathing. Inhale. You can decide legs close, legs far. Find your way up. Let the diaphragm have some work. Breathe. Feel the depth of your breath. Engage your glutes, engage your core. Find the balance between the two. Engage your rhomboids, engage your core. Find the balance between the two. All right, and then rest. Put your head to one side or the other. Relax your arms down and swivel your feet left and right. Deep breaths in, deep breaths away. Okay, we're flipping over onto our back again. And this time we're going to take our bridge higher so your arms can get involved now. So arms down at your sides. If you want to interlace, if that's a happy thing for your body, you can do that. Go ahead and lift up, get onto the tops of your shoulders. Open the heads of the arm bones. Be very mindful of your neck. Try not to push the back of the neck into the floor. Hug and stable. Everybody come back down. If you were with me last week at all when we did some glute work, let's try that little trick to make sure our glutes are, all three of them are active. Pull your feet apart from each other, kind of bring your knees toward each other a little bit. Lift up from there, and then activate your gluteus maximus with the gluteus medius and minimus. Find your way. What does it feel like to have your belly stretch, but still have some core stabilization on your exhales? It's a little harder when you're upside down versus when you're on your belly. So what's here? Is your neck soft? Are you able to fill your breath up? Is your chest expanding? Can you feel the balance of stability and freedom? Are you enjoying your breath? All right, and then let's go ahead and lower our pelvis down. Don't bring your knees to your chest. We still have a little bit more back bending to go. So just rock left and right through your sides. Deep breaths in, deep breaths away. Stretch your arms overhead, extend the spine, and then we're going to roll over onto our side. And you can skip this if you're like done with the back bends, don't want to do any more. You don't have to do this pose. We're going to come onto our belly. Bring your feet toward your pelvis. Grab onto your ankles, flex your ankles. Try not to let your knees splay out to the sides. Take a deep breath. We're going to do all sorts of things here. So you want to engage your glutes. You want to engage your core. You want to make sure you're breathing. The heads and the arm bones are lifting. Find your way up into the pose with that kind of balance. Use your breath to move your diaphragm. Enjoy the deep work of breathing in this posture. Your quads should have a flex stretch going on, so pull into your hands. So they want to flex at the same time as stretch. Deep breaths. Okay, and then release and relax. Windshield wiper your knees, left and right. Okay, come up onto all fours. Feel free to swivel things around, move your hips, move your shoulders, move your head. Okay. All right, so we're gonna come into pigeon pose. So if you need props, like blankets or blocks or anything to support yourself, make sure you have props handy. If you wanna come into reverse pigeon pose, you can do that left leg forward first unless you're already Doing a different side. Extend through the spine. Find some balance through the pelvis. As you come down, I always like to have my block handy, to have my head resting on it in this pose, but you do you. So however deep you naturally go in this pose, you might need more support than this. You might need support underneath your pelvis or underneath your back thigh. If you're in reverse pigeon pose, let your head rest, let your spine rest on the floor. Whatever you're choosing to do, is there ease to be had? Can you feel the depth of your breathing? Now feel as if the back and side bodies have as much room as the front body to breathe. Full inhales, full exhales. Look what you're able to do. Have deep gratitude for the ways our bodies move, even if you're deeply modifying what you're doing. Look at what you're able to do. Let's come out of the posture. Support yourself in any way you need. So if you need some support underneath your hip or under your head or wherever you are, if you're in reverse pigeon pose, you can grab on behind your thigh or the front of your shin. You can also put your foot on a piece of furniture or a wall so you don't have to do the grabbing. Extend the spine. Notice how different your two sides are. Maybe they are. Square the hips. So with the straight leg that's behind you, internally rotate the thigh, widen the sit bones, let the outer hip roll toward the floor. Feel the spine grow, feel the breath deepen. Very easy to shrink up the breath if we're meeting our edge of range of motion. So what can you do to make sure that your breath is not compromised? Back away until you feel that your breath is full and deep. Or just stay and try to manage, try to cultivate that resiliency of breath right on your edge. If you can't, you need to back away. Always honor the breath and what it's capable of, moment by moment. It's our greatest guide. The breath really doesn't lie to us. We can't will ourselves through the breath as much as we can power and will ourselves through muscle movement in the body. So it's a pure form of integration. So feel yourself integrating the inhales and the exhales. Take pleasure in your breathing. Let's go ahead and find our way out of this posture. Come onto your back. Okay. Lie down. Pick up your knees. Let's do a simple twist. Move hips right, lift knees up, drop them left. Deep breath in, deep breath away. Finding your inhale, finding your exhale. Feel free to turn your head a little bit if it feels good to rotate. What's pleasurable about this posture? What feels good in your body? And then pick up your knees. Scoot your hips the other way and then drop your knees over. Find your breathing, find the chest opening. Notice if there's a little
tug of war on the breath at all. See if you can melt, let the breath happen. Inhale and lift the knees up. Now you finally get to bring your knees toward your chest. Feel free to rock. The simple pleasure of rocking. And then if you want to, you can grab onto your feet and come into happy baby pose. Maybe get some low back flexion now. Counteract some of the back bends. Feel free to rock and move. And then legs straight up in the air. Either grab a strap, hold your feet, or grab behind your legs. Feel the extension through your spine no matter what you're doing with your legs. And then we're going to find our way into Shavasana. So whatever kind of support you need, if you need some props underneath your knees, or you want to lift your knees up, your calves up onto a couch or a chair, or if you want to be on your side, whatever you want. Okay, maybe you want to be on the ground with your limbs spread wide. Allow yourself to ground. Part of the pleasure of having a healthy body is feeling your body in relationship to the earth. So even if your body doesn't move well, even if you're struggling with issues of mobility, we can all feel the pleasure of grounding. So enjoy the weight, gravity as a blanket, the earth holding you, that deep pull and connection you have with the deep center of the earth. Allow yourself to melt into that, to give way. Melt the eyes, the whole face, the whole skull. Melt the spine. Let the belly be free now, so there's no need for tension. There's no need for strength and stability. The stability comes from the earth. Let the breath be deep, deep and steady. Full exhale. Enjoy the breath. Enjoy the sensation of breathing.
As you're ready, you can begin to be aware again. Just stay very still and be aware of the comfort of your body. Sense of ease as you rest into the floor, feeling the support. Sense of ease as you breathe deeply and enjoy your breath. Deep, deep gratitude for health. Let's go ahead and find movement now. Breathe deeply. Eventually finding your way onto your side. As you're ready, come up, bring yourself to sit. Let's offer our prayers, our intentions outward. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.